John Sugden ranked among Emmerdale's most layered and unforgettable villains, and it feels appropriate that he continues to cause chaos, even after dying. His reign of fear eventually ended when his sister, Victoria Sugden, injected him with a syringe in the woods following the devastating Corriedale crash, then placed the syringe in his hand to make it appear self-inflicted. Ever since that moment, Victoria has been tormented by overwhelming guilt. She's not only burdened by the fact that she killed her own brother, but also by the belief that she brought him back to the village in the first place. Had she not persuaded John to stay in Emmerdale so she could build a relationship with him, he wouldn't have gone on to murder Nate Robinson or leave several others injured during his reckless attempts to play the hero. And all of that happened before he completely lost control, abducted Mackenzie, and sent Aaron over a cliff. In truth, John was a danger to everyone around him, and few would mourn his loss. But Victoria can't bring herself to see it that way. What makes matters far worse is that she has no idea Joe Tate secretly filmed her standing over John's body with the syringe, then used the footage to blackmail Robert into planting incriminating papers at Moira's home, linking her to Celia Daniels' people trafficking ring. As a result, Moira has now been arrested not only for murder, but also for people trafficking, after Celia's body was discovered buried on her land, alongside one of her victims. In scenes yet to air, Victoria receives an update on the investigation into John's death, and learns that it has officially been ruled a suicide. Although this should bring her relief, the weight of her guilt refuses to lift. Soon after, she overhears a conversation that leaves her reeling. Joe Tate is discussing plans with Robert to buy their share of the farm, pushing for a rapid sale and warning Robert that he can always plant evidence of his own if things don't move quickly. Victoria confronts Robert, who eventually confesses to hiding the documents at Moira's farm. She realizes Joe used the video as leverage, meaning she may also be indirectly to blame for Moira ending up behind bars. Joe then pressures Victoria to sign the contracts immediately, threatening to release the footage if she refuses. Victoria stands her ground, insisting she needs to take the paperwork home and read it properly before agreeing to anything. The next day, Joe's patience wears thin, and he gives Victoria just 6 hours to secure Moira's signature on the sale papers, or he'll turn the video over to the police. With no way out, Victoria visits Moira in prison and argues that the farm is impossible to run and that selling is the only solution. As Moira lifts her pen to sign, Victoria reveals that the buyers are the Tates. Will Moira still go through with it? And if she doesn't, will Joe follow through on his threat and ensure Victoria faces justice for John's death? With this storyline paving the way for Isabel Hodgins' exit from Emmerdale ahead of her real-life maternity leave, could Victoria's future involve time behind bars? Emmerdale has confirmed a major new storyline for Cain Haddock set to unfold in 2026, and it promises plenty of unexpected twists. Viewers are being warned to brace themselves as Cain moves into the spotlight with a plot that will reveal far more about him than ever before. Since his lively debut last year, fans have been keen to learn more about Cain's backstory, and the soap is finally ready to explore his hidden depths. Shebs Mia, who plays Cain, has shared fresh insight into what's coming during a revealing interview on Soap Scoop, Inside Soap's weekly podcast featuring news, spoilers, and cast chats. During the conversation, Shebs revealed that he recently had an in-depth meeting with Emmerdale bosses to discuss Cain's long-term future, suggesting that this much-anticipated storyline is now drawing closer. "You're all in for a huge surprise, I can promise you that," Shebs laughed. "Cain's a big talking point right now. Everyone keeps asking when they'll finally understand him and what's really going on beneath the surface." He explained that during the early stages of his time on the show, Cain's direction was still being shaped. At first, it was about throwing ideas around. The producers, writers, and I were all working together to figure out who Cain really is, he said. That process has now moved forward. I've just come back from a meeting with the producer, and what she told me completely caught me off guard, Shebs admitted. I didn't expect it at all. I just thought, okay, this is going to be really interesting. Shebs went on to confirm that Cammy's past will soon be explored in detail, including revelations about his family history. It was very emotional finding out, he said. There was relief and happiness, but there's also a tragic side to it. There's sadness in his past, but it explains so much, especially why Cammy is so upbeat and charismatic. Alongside this storyline, Cammy will also be involved in his close friend Vinnie Dingle's ongoing will-they-won't-they situation with Lewis Barton. Viewers have already noticed the chemistry between Vinnie and Lewis, who became housemates late last year. I think Cammy really values friendships and relationships, Shebs teased. We'll learn why that matters so much to him later on, which is a bit of a spoiler. He added that Cammy treasures his bond with Vinnie and feels protective of him. At the end of the day, Cammy just wants Vinnie to be happy and to make the right choices. ITV's Emmerdale has set tongues wagging after fans claimed they've uncovered Graham Foster's secret new romance, and it's not with Rona Goskirk. Viewers believe Graham could soon be heading for a surprising affair following his dramatic return from the dead. Longtime fans will remember that Graham was apparently murdered 6 years ago in a major whodunit storyline. Although his wife Kim Tate was initially suspected, it was Marlon Dingle who ultimately went to prison for the crime. That's why Graham's reappearance during last month's Corriedale crossover left viewers stunned. In a flashback scene, Graham visited his former partner Rona and revealed that he'd returned to help April Windsor escape from dangerous villain Ray Walters. He later turned up at Home Farm to see Kim and his old ally Joe Tate. Despite Graham's attempts to explain why he faked his death, Joe reacted badly and even called the police. Joe's fiancée, Dawn Fletcher, later persuaded him to reconsider, allowing Graham to stay in the spare room at Home Farm while he tried to make amends. During Friday's episode, now available on ITVX, Gabby Thomas and Lydia Dingle were shocked to discover Graham calmly standing in the kitchen. Determined to stop rumours before they spread, Joe and Graham decided to reveal the truth publicly by making a bold appearance at the Woolpack. Their arrival left villagers speechless, with Eric Pollard joking he must be seeing things. As locals stared in disbelief, Ruby Milligan introduced herself to Graham, praising his dramatic entrance. However, Charity Dingle wasn't impressed by Graham's casual return and quickly ordered him and Joe out of the pub. She questioned his true motives, suggesting he'd come back for Rona, a claim Graham firmly denied. Now, fans are speculating that Graham could soon strike up a secret romance, with many believing Ruby may be the unexpected love interest. Viewers have taken to social media to suggest a fling could be on the cards, pointing to Ruby's past as evidence that anything is possible. Emmerdale airs weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX.